Hi, I'm Nick Palmachado.
And I'm Tim Kennedy.
And this is BNN.
I'm Matt Finney.
And I'm Thomas Hunt.
This is Perry. Hi. Keep it down, Perry. And this is the Bad News Network.
So, Afghanistan, it's going down. This is a mother shit show. I have not seen such catastrophe and like this in my entire time in the military, which now has been
A long time.
a while.
Like 18 years or something?
Oof. Yeah.
17, 18? It's been a while.
Yeah. From personnel recovery to hostage rescue to NEO, this, we're talking Saigon level catastrophe where 10,000 Americans stuck in Afghanistan, tens of thousands of Afghanis that worked with Americans that are currently there in fear of their lives for the Taliban, because the Taliban's going to do what the Taliban does, which is rape, murder, pillage, destroy, and take everything that they want whenever they want it.
And it's not just the news. That the news is always like, they blow things out of proportion. We literally have multiple people that have reached out that are in various parts of the country that are desperately trying to get out. And there is no way for us to help them right now. Never mind the fact that we have an airport that is on the brink of being overrun, and we can't even get those people off the runway into the air, and we can't get American citizens that are standing right outside inside. I mean, it is insane. And look, people like to argue politics about everything, right? I criticized President Trump for 4 years. I am not a hyper-partisan person. The way that this has been executed by this administration, Tim, you turn around because you can't talk about this right now. The way that this has been executed by this administration is embarrassing. The idea that is being pushed around right now, that we could not have started evacuating people earlier for fear of creating a bad situation, is absurd. Do you think this is a bad situation now? We're in a place where we literally have no way of saving American citizens. Our Secretary of Defense said we don't have a way of getting American citizens out of Afghanistan because the plan was to hope that the Taliban didn't do what the Taliban always do. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you could ask any one of my teammates, my colleagues, a question that was asked to the Secretary of Defense, and the answer is always going to be the same. I'm not going to leave an American behind. I'm not going to leave a fallen brother behind. I'm going to bend earth, time, space, whatever it takes. I'm going to leverage every single available resource possible to go and protect Americans. Then there's only one way to answer a question about there's 10,000 Americans that are stuck in Afghanistan. What are you going to do? The answer is I'm going to do whatever it takes, and with every resource that I have, to try and return them to American soil. And anybody that tries to interfere with that, whether that be the Taliban, whether that be Al-Qaeda, insert any other radical, extremist, violent organization, you're going to reap the full repercussions of American authority and military dominance and power if you mess with Americans, period. That has to be known. Then, I'm going to go get some Americans.
And to be super clear, because a lot of people bring this up, do I think we should continue to fight the war in Afghanistan? That is completely up to the American people. The American people have essentially said, we don't want to be in Afghanistan anymore, right? So this isn't about saying that we need to be in perpetual war, but it is saying that if we're going to do the right thing by our own people and the people that helped us, there had to have been a plan to make sure that these people got out safe, right? A lot of people are blaming President Trump for putting together this timeline, 6-7 months ago. Well, President Biden has now been president for half a year. If I was handed a plan, I wouldn't just go, I guess I have to follow the plan. You make a new plan. You solve it so that American citizens don't end up being killed, slaughtered, murdered, raped in Afghanistan. You make a plan so that the people that believed in us for the last 20 years, put their lives on the line, thousands of which have already been killed, have the opportunity to get out.
Yeah, this sends a message to every one of our allies. It sends a message to every one of our partners, whether it's Taiwan or Ukraine. What are we going to do as a sovereign nation to protect our allies? This sends the wrong message. I will fight for freedom, and I'll follow the orders of my commander-in-chief and the generals above me, all the way down through my chain of command. But there are consequences to the decisions that we make, and those consequences have strategic level negative effects. Having a plan where people can look at that plan and be like, America's got our back. America is going to do the right thing by us. And that's an important thing for everyone to know. So all Afghanis out there, I love you guys. We're doing everything that we can to help and support, funneling money, assisting in evacuations, personnel recovery, non-combatant evacuation operations. We're doing everything that we can, but it's not enough.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Nick. Don't think I could have said it better myself. Also, for all you viewers out there, President Biden and Kamala Harris are set to speak again on the matter ongoing in Afghanistan. Although this is going to be much later in the day, and this is pre-recorded. We'll see what we miss and report on it next week. Hurricane Grace has been downgraded into a tropical storm after making landfall, but is expected to be back up to a hurricane again as it goes back out to sea on Friday. Meanwhile, Fred has been downgraded into a tropical cyclone near New York. Grace is responsible for 2 deaths confirmed in North Carolina and 20 unaccounted persons. Officials are warning to be on the lookout for flash floods up and down the East Coast and the Yucatan Peninsula. There have been no evacuations as officials have left it up to the residents, saying, Yucatan, if you want to, you can leave your friends behind. We realize that the news has been pretty grim lately. To help alleviate tensions, here is Pure Moods.
Experience Pure Moods, the perfect soundtrack for your way of life. Direct from Europe, this multi-platinum collection has won the hearts of millions.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers seized something like 3,000 fake vaccine cards imported from China this week. Officers who seized the counterfeit shipment stated that they were the most garbage vaccine cards they'd ever seen. Seriously, it didn't even look like they tried. There were misspellings everywhere, unfinished words, unfinished sentences, some of it was in Spanish, a real shit show. The officers did warn that people should avoid using fraudulent vaccine cards as it's technically illegal. And also a giant waste of $25 given the absolutely atrocious quality of the cards. One of the officers even offered to make them at half price if you're just looking to throw money away.
Senators Angus King of Maine, Roger Wicker of Mississippi, and John Hickenlooper of Colorado announced separately on Thursday that they all have COVID-19. Also, all 3 of these men have been vaccinated, so their symptoms have been reportedly more mild. The 3 added the growing list of the government officials that have announced that they have had coronavirus since getting vaccinated. Breakthrough cases remain rare, and the CDC reports that just 8,000 have resulted in severe disease or death out of 166 million who were vaccinated. So it's still a better chance than the lottery. Good luck, everybody.
The Australians are implementing a 7-day lockdown to flatten the curve after discovering 466 new cases in New South Wales. Gladys Berejiklian, the state's premier, announced that Saturday business would be forced to shut down except for the essentials like grocery shopping. Citizens will be ordered to stay home and no visitors, including friends or family, will be allowed to come over. Exceptions can be made if you can prove that you're going to essential locations like gas stations or grocery stores. But anyone caught lying about that can be fined up to $5,000. Anyone found to have COVID will be shot. I might have made that last one up, but it sounds in line with the reports, right? New South Wales police will be launching an operation to stay at home on Monday, which will assign roughly 1,400 traffic officers to their new duty as COVID-19 compliance officers. Australia has a population of 25 million, and as of this year, the Australian Government Department of Health has logged 38,657 cases including 953 deaths. Local residents comments, "This sucks, mate," as they prepared for another new lockdown under.
And not to be outdone in panicking by their northern neighbors, in additional panic news, New Zealand has decided to go back into complete isolation and lockdown after confirming one new case of COVID. That's right, one. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said that Auckland, where the infected man lives, and Coromandel, where he had visited, would go into full lockdown for 7 days and the remainder of the country for 3 days while the health experts try to find the source of this infection. Imagine being that one guy from New Zealand that gave the government every reason to jump the shark. Death stares from 5 million people on an island you can't currently leave for the foreseeable future. The news created some dread among the Kiwi people that it prompted them to line up outside supermarkets to stock up on essential items, and sparked a sharp drop in the value of the country's dollar itself. The lockdown takes effect from just before midnight Tuesday. It requires people to remain at home and avoid others. Most people can leave only to buy groceries or exercise. Despite the country's cautiousness, only 32% of people have had at least one shot, and 18% are fully vaccinated. So it looks like for that reason, there will be plenty of fallback reasons for New Zealand's Prime Minister to continue to keep her population completely isolated from the world. Meanwhile, it has only recorded 26 deaths so far since the beginning of the pandemic. So in the pandemic race, they are currently winning all the trophies, but they don't really have anyone around them to celebrate with. You know, I feel like New Zealand is that new lonely nerd sitting in the corner during the slow dance at prom with no one next to them except for North Korea, who they know better not to ask for a dance.
And finally, in Florida news, 59-year-old Ralph Puglisi of Tampa, Florida was overseeing credit cards for a billing company that works with the University of South Florida's medical services. The problem? There was no one to oversee him. So Puglisi flew off the handles and decided to embezzle $12.8 million. He said 13 would have been a bit too much and didn't want to appear excessive. He used the university's funds for such things as rental payments, extensive home renovations, travel, chartered yachts, origami lessons, fine tweed suits, parsley, the list goes on. Puglisi hatched this scheme in 2014 and only got caught last September. According to reports, Puglisi cleaned out the money in the classic mobster way by sending it to an adult entertainment site called My Girl Fund, where he paid his future daughter-in-law, who then sent him back 60% of the take. Police are still unsure as to whether or not this is actually his future daughter-in-law. According to attorneys, though, Puglisi has accepted responsibility and cooperated with investigators working to return the money that he stole from the university. He sold a number of his assets, his properties, though it's unclear as to whether or not he'll be able to cover the whole nut. His future daughter-in-law remains at large. And with that, I'm Matt Finney.
And I'm Thomas Hunt.
And this is the Bad News Network. Our news is at least as bad as the news you're getting already, and we've done a poll here at BNN, and we've all decided that Tim Kennedy is not going hard enough when he's sparring with Nick Palmisano. Step those numbers up, Tim. Let's get those punches in. As always, you can check out with code BNN to get 25% off at rangerup.com, and visit our OnlyFans, Nick and Matt. And OnlyFans is getting rid of sexual content, so sorry guys, we'll just have to keep making not sexual content and middling entertainment. But check us out anyways.